Have you ever wondered just how long the world's longest bridge is? Where is it located? What's its name? If you have, then you're in the right place because in this video, we're going to tell you everything you need to know about the longest bridge in the world. And without any further ado, let's jump right in. Our quest for the longest bridge in the entire world has brought us to the People's Republic of China. China's historically unparalleled public spending and its strong approach to infrastructure planning have meant that it is now consuming 50% of all of the steel found in the world. But not just that, it also consumes about 70% of the world's cement output every single year. The nation's crazy development program has also rewarded its construction industry with some impressive tools, which include the world's tallest crawler crane, the world's most powerful pumped concrete truck, and a lot of other miscellaneous equipment such as the SLJ 932 bridge girder, which is nicknamed the Iron Monster. But keep the kits aside for a moment and you'll get some of China's most astonishing building project. China boasts, among other things, huge airports, record-breaking dams, and much, much more. Within these is our subject for today, the Danyang Kunshan Grand Bridge, listed by the Guinness Book of World Records as the longest bridge on the face of the planet. The Danyang Kunshan Grand Bridge is located in the Jiangsu province in China, and even though it might not seem to be the most beautiful of all the bridges, its length alone is the proof of its greatness and is a source of thrill for most. And when it comes to this very length that the bridge is so famous by, it spans over some 168.4 kilometers, which is 102 miles. It also has a high-speed rail link that connects the city of Nanjing with the advanced metropolis of Shanghai. The Danyang Kunshan sits parallel to the famous Yangtze River, which flows anywhere near 8 to 80 kilometers proximity from the ground project. As it's very likely of bridges of such magnitude, this bridge lays over several different habitats and landscapes, extending over rice paddies, peaceful farms, meandering streams, bustling canals, gushing rivers, wide lakes, ascending hills, and dozing chasms. As you probably know by now, that the Danyang is not built on one gaping 100 miles, but instead on a viaduct model, which lets it rise and fall according to terrain and even according to the curvature of the planet itself. And to achieve this, about 9,500 concrete pilings stroll across the Chinese landscape, being connected by the sleek concrete bridge sections that hold the railway itself. And it's not only the pleasant countryside that can be found beneath the bridge, but also the northern edges of huge population regions such as Kunshan, Suzhou, Wuxi, Zhenggu, and Danyang. When the construction team reached Suzhou, they faced the biggest obstacle of the entire building process, the Yangxing Lake. This is where the bridge was forced to pace a whole 9 kilometers or 5.6 miles over open water. This section alone required 2,000 pillars and numerous steel cables, and not to forget a complicated naval collection of barges and submarines, construction platforms that were needed to build this tough stretch. According to official reports, this section can endure the impact of an errant naval vessel around 300,000 tons in weight. And not to mention, this tediously built part can also withstand natural disasters like typhoons and even magnitude 8 earthquakes. The official numbers disclosed by the Chinese government show the overall cost of the Grand Bridge to be around an all-striking $8.5 billion. That's around $51 million for every single mile of the bridge. Though, still the constructors, who were reported to be the China Road and Bridge Corporation, CRBC, a subsidiary of China Communications construction company, are required to be constantly vigilant to this day. Since the bridge is situated in the ancient Yangtze River Delta, the soil it rests on is soft, and this makes it necessary to constantly monitor it and even reinforce it every now and then. The bridge was completed in 2011 after 4 years of tiresome building, but it's all worth the efforts. From an end user's perspective, with journey times on the route reportedly cut by hours and even halved sometimes given the speed of the railway, and the fact that this immense project, which consumed 500,000 tons of steel and 2.5 million cubic meters of concrete, was ready in just 4 years, is truly astounding. The bridge even attracts tourists with its impeccable features. Around 10,000 local construction workers were employed in the project. Mind-blowing as this bridge is, It's been left behind, if not exactly in length, then definitely in grandeur by yet another Chinese bridge. This megastructure lies across the Pearl River estuary and has been labeled the world's largest sea-spanning bridge. It connects Hong Kong and Macau with the city of Zhuhai on the Chinese mainland, the three main regions in the Pearl River Delta. This huge structure has been named the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macao Bridge by Western commentators. The work on it started all the way back in 2009 and finished no less than 9 years later. The Hong Kong Bridge is around 34 miles long from end to end. This immense piece of construction marvel has made traveling between the cities of Hong Kong and Zhuhai a piece of cake for drivers. What previously took 4 hours and an hour by ferry now takes only 30 minutes thanks to the bridge. And though this bridge was originally planned to be inaugurated in 2016, it could only do so 2 years later and was opened to the public in 2018. And not to everyone even then, as whoever desires to be on the beautiful structure is required to have a special permit and pay a toll for its use. The cost of usage is up to 200 Chinese yuan, or about $31. There are also shuttle buses for the unlucky who couldn't acquire a special permit. The price of one ticket is about $10. The bridge has an impressive estimated lifespan of 120 years. The construction on this tough structure began in China first and was then extended to Hong Kong in 2011. The HCMB consists of 3 cable-stayed bridges and link roads, and in order to compensate for the length of the bridge, 4 man-made islands were constructed across the waters, 2 of which were used to connect the main section of the bridge to the Hong Kong Link bridge through an underwater tunnel. Now, this portion is about 5 miles long, and while most of the bridge has been designed to allow ships to go through, the underwater tunnel allows larger vessels to pass through. And that definitely comes in handy, with an average of 4,000 ships coming around every single day. Together, there are a staggering 4 tunnels and 6 lanes across the bridge. In Hong Kong, cars are driven on the left-hand side of the road, while in China, they're driven on the right-hand side. As such, there are some special merger channels to make the transition safe for drivers. And the most interesting bit is probably the yawn cams that have been so smartly installed within the bridge. These cameras spot drivers with signs of fatigue and sleepiness, minimizing the risk that comes with sleepy drivers. As such, if a driver yawns more than 3 times, the authorities are contacted. The bridge was made with around 420,000 tons of steel. That's around 60 Eiffel Towers. What also went into the building was 1.08 million cubic meters of concrete. The bridge was especially designed to handle natural calamities like typhoons and tsunamis and earthquakes. And not just its design also took into consideration environmental impacts. However, the World Wildlife Federation, Hong Kong, discovered that the dolphin population has fallen significantly between the years 2015 and 2016, and they laid the blame on the bridge. The bridge was mainly built to aid the economy in China's Greater Bay Area. The area boasts a population of about 70 million people. The GDP is set to a figure of around 1.5 trillion. This construction marvel cost around $20 billion, making it the most expensive bridge in the world. And even though the initial estimates were made to be around 10.7 billion, the end result was obviously much heavier on the pockets. The building of the HCBM was funded by the governments at Hong Kong, Zhuhai, and Macau, and any remainders were made up for by using bank loans. It's said that the main bridge alone cost the government $7.6 billion, with $4.2 billion coming in through bank loans. So that's all the facts and figures we have about the longest bridge in the world. What details surprised you the most? Well, let us know in the comments below, would you? Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We'll see you all next time.